8.10's Math Moment. Today in 5th grade, students worked on visualizing volume by basically taking apart a rectangular prism and looking at the different components to then find the volume of that. Let's look at example number 1. It says use the prism to answer all of the questions. We're going to be using this prism right over here to answer all of these questions about this problem. So when it says how many cubes are in one layer, what we're going to look at is we are going to look at what one layer would look like. One of the first things I like to do with students is sometimes think about how many layers there are, which is actually the second question in this problem. So when I look at this, there are 1, 2, 3 layers. So I'm going to go ahead and answer that question first. It says how many cubes are in one layer? Well, if I look at that, I can see that there's one layer. I've got 1, 2, 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can see there are 3 over here and 4 back here, which means I've got 3 times 4, which equals 12. Now some students might want to look at the top of the cube to be able to figure out what we have. They could also look over here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They could also see there are 12 cubes in one layer. Now we've already answered that question that says how many layers are in the prism. The next part of the question says write an expression for the volume. Well, we know volume is length times width times height. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use these numbers that I already have used up here with how many cubes are in one layer and how many layers are there to write my expression. I am going to write there are 3 times my 4 times there's 1, 2, 3 numbers for my height. So I'm going to take 3 times 4 times 3. Now one of the important things to know, if your student would have done 3 times 3 times 4, that's okay because with multiplication the order doesn't matter. Now the final step of this is to find the volume of the prism. So I'm going to take my 3 times 4, which is 12, times my 3 from up here. So when I take 12 times 3, I notice my answer is 36. With this one, it doesn't give me necessarily a unit to use, so I would just write cubic units. If you have any question about today's math lesson, make sure you see your math teacher.